Hello there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Really great to see you. And before we get started, I would like to address some of the concerns that you all were kind enough to share with me last month about the video format. Last month I was just trying something new. I wanted to see if I could reach a wider audience. I also wanted to play around with being a little bit more concise. But perhaps I erred too much on the side of being concise. A lot of you wished that it was longer, and I would say more than half of you missed the cards. So I'm bringing the cards back. I'm bringing it back to its normal length, and that usually is somewhere between 25 to 30 minutes. The other thing that I would like to address is a positive note. It looks like you guys are really reacting well to the intuitive development series, so I will continue with those. Like I said, I have a crystal video and a Q&A one planned. More to come as we get closer to that. Also, inspired by all of the talk about cards last month, I'm going to start to do deck reviews in the future, and I'll keep you posted on when those are coming through. If you enjoy all of these new sort of additions to what I'm doing on my channel, plus the return of the old format, if you've never supported me in the past, this is a great time to think about doing so. All I ask for is like $1. It can be one time or recurring. It makes a big difference. And if you've done it before, thank you. You're the reason I continue to be here. This is very much whatever you give me, I can give right back to you. So with all of that being said, let's now look at the forecast. As I was tuning into your sign, I selected the deck that I was going to use and began to do automatic writing. But I actually paused because for you, I was seeing and hearing something, which was someone singing in a falsetto, and it didn't sound right. So what I picked up from this download was to be authentic, and I wrote, don't change your tune to appease others. Stay true to yourself and let other people see you for who you are, or maybe you can attract other people who actually appreciate what you bring to the table. Be authentic, because when you sort of go off of whatever your vision is or your morals are or what feels right on a soul or a gut level, typically those situations always come back to haunt you. And so this month, be strong and trust yourself. Then and only then are you really going to find the harmony that you're looking for in your life. And it's the song that is true to you that matters the most. And that's really what I take away from that vision. All right, let's look at the cards now and see what additional insights they have to yield for the month ahead. At this point, I normally remain quiet because I like to observe where everything falls, and I get additional information too. So I will rejoin you in just a second after I've pulled the Celtic Cross. Okay, in addition to everything that you see in front of you, I like to pull one more card. This is the catalyst for the month, and the catalyst helps bring everything together. So let's go ahead and give these cards a good shuffle, and we'll see what your catalyst message is for this month. And we have hyena, and the interesting thing with this is I feel like this really does tie into the channeled information, because hyenas have that sort of high-pitched, almost laughing sound when they're vocalizing, and I was getting something that wasn't quite harmonious. I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder here, but this really does kind of sound off-pitch, kind of like what I was tuning into. So what I'm kind of picking up on this is people, voices, and environments around you kind of distracting you or pulling you off your focal point, whatever that is. And in particular, there may be one voice that rises above the rest that is annoying you to no end, or is sort of just a voice of discord. All of that notwithstanding, that doesn't make that voice right, it just makes it loud. So I want you to trust yourself, trust your own vision, and stay true to your tune. And that's really what my channeled information is, and it's being supported here in the catalyst here. So the other thing that I get with hyena is don't be afraid to laugh. The reason I mention this is if you ever listen to the way that they vocalize, it almost sounds like giggling or laughter. And the message here is to not take yourself so seriously, nor should you take the input from this person as gospel. And one remaining piece of information I'm getting from this is you're always going to have a small percentage of the population or people in your life that you just can't please. And that's also a sign and symbol from the universe that if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing on this planet, some of it is to make people uncomfortable and grow and shift. And as long as it's coming from a place of love and you're trying to do better for yourself and the world, it's probably the right thing, and you're going to have a percentage of the population that just doesn't get it and doesn't support you. So don't try to win everybody over. If 90% of the people are there on your side and you have a random 2 or 3 that are always giving you a hard time, that's just the way it goes. And this month, I feel like it's a single voice. Tune it out, tune into something else, and just let them yap in the background, okay? Let's take a closer look at the tarot cards for this month, and we'll go card by card to see what's going on. First, I just want to highlight a couple things that I'm seeing. We have the Lovers card here in reverse. That really, it's talking about everything that I just spoke about, which is you have a lot of love and support in your life. You may want more, or you may not be realizing how loved and supported you are. Don't let one thing negate all of the positive work that you've been doing. And the other thing that I'm seeing here is really trying to find some balance. We're going to go card by card, and I'll break it down so that you can get a little bit more detail on this. Right at the center, I feel like many of you may just be stuck in a little bit of a loop. We have the 5 of Wands here, which, although very nice and beautifully illustrated here, typically is a card that comes when you have a lot of work, when you're really pushing through a lot of tasks, and sometimes you get so buried in the weeds that you can't remember exactly why you're working so hard, or you may not be receiving the positive feedback that you wish you were from loved ones, from coworkers, from people in your life in general, your partner, etc. And what I'm getting right on top of that 5 of Wands is time for rest. And this 4 of Swords is less about sleep and more about space to think, and also, of course, to meditate. So please make some time this month, even if it's 2 or 3 minutes. It can change your entire day, and it'd be great if you could set a couple minutes at the beginning and a couple at the end. One, just to sort of put the idea, plant the seed that today's going to be a good day. And the last one is tomorrow could be even better, or I'm grateful for everything that I learned today. I spoke with someone a month ago where they really didn't believe that it could be a good day. And I said, well, we need to start with that, because if you've started off the day thinking, oh my God, it's just another day, I'm going to have all this stuff going on, then you have started to, like a magnet, attract things in your life that are going to support that lower frequency thought. So raise the frequency in your meditation of the thoughts and open yourself up to possibilities, and then things can start to shift for you. Now, I feel like some of you have been working on the emotional component that I just hit on. So you may have already overcome some of these things that have sort of popped up where you sometimes had those negative thoughts. And I feel like this month is going to be a lot easier to attach to the positive. In fact, some of you may have either recently gotten into a relationship, mended bridges in an old one, or just found that you're a little bit more open and receptive this month. So you can either channel this into creative endeavors or deepen relationships or start new ones. So nice to see the Page of Cups as a deep past card. It's showing me emotional growth. Some of you still have to look, though, at your life in general. It's not so much just about how you feel, but it's how you're looking at yourself. To me, the 4 of Cups can indicate a missed opportunity or something that you're not really appreciating and giving gratitude for. So as a part of this daily meditation practice, you could create like a little gratitude journal where you thank the universe and thank yourself for simple things. And if you have a hard time beginning, make it very basic, like I'm appreciative that I can breathe, that I can walk, that I can take care of myself, that I can use the restroom on my own. These are all small dignities that, particularly being able to like brush your teeth, comb your hair, and go to the toilet, that some people can't do and that they need assistance for. So start small and then work into a larger scale and say, I'm so grateful for the love and the support that I have in my life, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you can always find something to be grateful for. And once you do that, it's not just to kind of like torture yourself. It opens your heart, and especially if you work with angels and ascended masters, offer them gratitude too, because when your heart's open, their heart's open, more energy can come through. It opens the channel, and that's the secret of gratitude. Plus, it makes you happier because you realize, wow, I really am in an okay space. So what I'm looking at here is your crowning card. This is going to affect, this is sort of like what's top of mind this month. We have the Lovers in reverse. There's a lot of energy going into relationships. So if you're single and just happily single, this could be about work relationships, friendships, and trying to manage those effectively. The Lovers card, even in the reverse state, is a very good card. It's showing that love and support and all of this sort of caring energy, it's around you. It may be a little bit harder to reach, or you may be having some sort of a hard time bridging a gap between someone in your life that you care about. But the fact that there's actually tension there means that there's something worth fighting for the two of you. If you still have the energy to get angry about something, it means that you care. When you no longer care, then it's a sign that the relationship's broken. So put some time and energy into fixing relationships, strengthening bonds, maybe just picking up the phone and saying I love you or I care about you, or just, hey, let's meet for dinner. Showing affection, showing care, and taking the initiative this month is going to go a long way. And I believe that the tide will turn. You'll have some reciprocity if you go there. There is some fear around the middle of the month. We have the Eight of Swords. This is a card when transparency isn't necessarily happening in your life. As I said, at the center, many of you may just be spinning your wheels and working way too hard, not taking enough time to sleep, to meditate, to just enjoy. And what this does eventually is just kind of creates a fractured sense of not just your extrasensory perception is off, but I would just say your regular perception is off. So we want to get you back to a place where you tune in and just think, it's going to be okay. This is just a little stressful. And ask for time off if you can, or delegate, or just try to relax a little bit as you're going through the tasks at hand. Easier said than done, especially for those of you that are raising children or taking care of an elderly parent, or just there's responsibilities sometimes that you can't shake off. They're hard. But find other places in your life where you treat yourself or you're feeling like you're supported. What's good this month is idea development. Doesn't matter what age you are. This is a great time to start a project. Home improvement, new business venture, planning for a trip. There's so many things that you could do this month, but I want you to put the pen to paper and actually make some of this stuff happen. One of the tricky components for many of you as I look in the environment this month is finances. I've seen a lot of Seven of Pentacles this month, at least 2 or 3 signs besides yours. So money is something that this month, the opportunity for you, for others, is to kind of get more comfortable with it, to repair where there's any sort of debt or bad investments or bad decisions. This is a month to sort of look back and think, okay, I probably could have done that better. In fact, I'm going to do it better. And you start to create a plan of action. Saving is more important than spending this month, and most important, I would say, is just knowing what you have. Sometimes we just don't look at the bills or look at the accounts online. I want you to get a very firm understanding for input versus output and allow for that to really inform your decisions over the rest of the month. As I'm looking at your hopes and fears, we have the Nine of Wands. And there's always a little bit of a forlorn character in the Nine of Wands. Sometimes you see someone with a bandage, or in this case, someone that's really wondering why it's taking so long to get something done. And that's the sort of undercurrent that some people don't see in the Nine of Wands, is like a perceived setback or a delay in achievement, but push. This is really the message with this card. Keep pushing, because look at how far you've come. That's something to be celebrated, and it's not something to sort of toss away. So really keep on your present path, and I know that you may just be feeling like it's not headed somewhere. I feel like it is. So stay strong, and most importantly as well, I would guess say there's a couple important points this month, is to achieve greater balance between work and your life, or between how much energy you're putting out into the universe and getting back. And of course, when it comes to your finances, there needs to be a better balancing going on there. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Let's go ahead and expand the forecast a little bit, and we'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny to get some additional insight on all of those components of your life. We're going to begin with health. Health is an all-inclusive card that looks at your mind, your body, and your spirit. Let's see what the message is this month. So we have coming together. And what I see here is it's really a chance to heal relationships, particularly with family or close, intimate people in your life. So loved ones, siblings, and again, possibly parents. It seems like that sort of level of intimacy is where you want to focus on this month. And it was reversed, just like the crowning card. So we have a couple cards of love here that are showing a need to sort of put more energy to balance them out. And interesting that your outcome card really is one of balance here, the Two of Pentacles. So when I see the Two of Pentacles, it shows that you have enough but it is really about making some smarter decisions. The 2 and sometimes the 6 of Pentacles show it's all about choices. Before we move on to wealth, I just want to touch on one more thing. The fact that this card was in the health area of your life. I think that some of you could have an important issue going on in your family. Maybe someone is sick or needs your support, or someone's recovering, or you might have some healing and you may need to ask for some help. This coming together card often applies to people at various points of their life where they're dealing with some sort of a health scare. So if there's someone in your life that needs your support, or if you're needing some support to get healthier yourself, don't be afraid to ask for help. It's there, and that was part of what we've been seeing this month is you have to embrace all of the love, the support that is around you, even if it's a little bit out of your comfort zone. So that was one really key piece that I wanted to touch on a little bit before we get into wealth. So now let's look at wealth. Wealth, of course, is not just money, but your relationship with self-worth, and then also your habits surrounding money. As I saw this month, there's a need to sort of balance and save, make some better decisions. Let's see if we can get some advice on that. Research. Whenever I see the Sage card, this is a lot like the Hermit card, and it's speaking to the value of talking to an advisor, of reading up on topics that you may not know a lot about. Basically getting to a point where you feel like you are an expert, or that you at least have someone to go to talk to about all of this stuff. So find the information, and if you don't know how to get there, ask smart questions or trusted contacts in your life for assistance on that. So we looked at health, we looked at wealth. Let's take a look at love and see what kind of advice is coming through for your relationships this month. It's a wide spectrum of relationships, not just romantic. This is a long one, so let me pick up the card here and read it for a second. It says, my capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I am lost. I'm going to pull this up here so you can see it. So focusing on piece by piece here, tuning into the energy of love. As we said, you have that readily available, and a lot of you might be thinking about that, but not knowing how to make it work. It says it gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up. So some of you, it might be even an unrequited sort of thing. This is an opportunity for you to let someone know that you care about them. Also, to just communicate the appreciation for what they do in your life. The other piece of this is the compassion that I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I am lost. So forgiveness here, I think this is really, really key when you're looking at sort of repairing, where was this other one here? The first here, yes. Coming together. For those of you that might have a family member who could be in hospice, or maybe they're just older and you want to make sure that you live without regret, that time is short. Even if they're younger, we don't have guarantees on how long anyone's on the planet. It's so much better to bury the hatchet and either agree to disagree on certain things, or just stop feeding into the energy of hatred. And if the other person, or anger or frustration, if the other person is stuck in these lower frequencies this month, what you could do is sow the seeds of hope in their life, or just let them know, say, I know you say this stuff, but I still love you. No matter what, I love you. You're making it hard, but I'm always going to be there, and there'll always be a place in my heart. So let them have that, even if they don't know how to say thank you. You could just say, I don't agree with you, but I do love you. It's sort of a backhanded I love you, but it's still there, and it's better than an argument. And you have to sort of inch your way towards a happy middle ground there. I don't want you to compromise your morals this month, though. So if there is someone in your life that is pushing there, you can just have a little bit of space, and that's better than having the argument if one is sort of brewing. Let's look at your outcome card here, the destiny. I see this as not just sort of where you're headed, but an opportunity to course correct. There's very much a free will component to destiny, at least as far as I'm concerned in this spread. So your destiny card this month, we have this one, volunteering, is manifest. And I love that it's showing colors of the heart space as the central portion here. It was reversed. There's a lot of reversals for you this month, but let's focus on the upright energy here, which is really saying that your belief in yourself, your passion for what you're doing, is going to be the attractive force. You notice that there's symmetry between these two pieces here. So what you feel attracts that in the universe. And also, I love that there's a rainbow above, which is showing that even if you've been through some struggles, there is something worth exploring and worth looking forward to at the other end, thinking of the gold at the end of the rainbow. So I want you to believe that whatever difficulties you've come through, they're leading you to a better path. Start to meditate each day and believe that something's possible, and see if you can't start to manifest that, because you start to open yourself up to success, to love, to well-being in general. Let's go ahead now and review everything, and then we'll wrap up this reading. Your channeled information this month was all about what I was hearing rather than writing or seeing, and it was to find this authentic and harmonious song that's your song and yours alone, not trying to change your tune just to appease other people. It's okay to empathize, to listen, to understand what's going on, but I do think this month that your point of view is a valid one, and there may be someone, as we look at the catalyst, that simply is difficult to please, and perhaps there are some people that are impossible to please. So focus more on your own energy, your own path, and your own purpose. Don't let that hyena in the background kind of annoy you. As we look at all of the cards and their meanings, the center one is showing all of the work that you're doing with the Five of Wands, Four of Swords on top of this saying take a break. Looking in deep past, showing that you've already done some great work with regard to relationships, but there's a little bit more to be achieved here. And as we looked further, I think there's some healing to go on in the family sector, but we'll talk about that again in a second. Take a break if you can, reset, and in your meditation practice, focus on gratitude. If there are things that are making you afraid or unsure, particularly I think with finance this month, then ask the questions. The Eight of Swords is easily countered just simply with knowledge and understanding and empowerment. To that end, it's a great month to start new things, and that Knight of Wands is attached to the Seven of Pentacles, which is saying starting new habits and better habits with money. We have the Nine of Wands here, which is also showing for some of you an impatience in finishing a goal or task. Stick with it. So much work has been done, you don't want to lose that momentum. Overall, the big theme of the month besides love is balance, balance of money, balance of time, balance of energy. I want to just remind you, you can do it. As we review the extended forecast here, when we looked at love, it was about coming together, forgiveness, asking for help, and also if there's anyone in your life that really needs support at a certain juncture, to make sure that you're there to support them. When we looked at wealth, we had informing yourself, researching, asking someone for help. For love, there were a lot of pieces here. The one I want to focus on the most is the compassion component and the forgiveness, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive. So really focus on mending those bridges, forgiving yourself, and all of the rest of that card will come into play. This needs to be edited. There's way too much here, but I'm really focusing on compassion, and that's the word that came through the most. Finally, that you have the ability to manifest. And I believe that through your meditation practice, you're going to be able to achieve this, but you have to reset each day and let go of the baggage of the day before and think, today's a new day, I'm feeling the opportunity in front of me, and I can't wait to see what happens. You really need to sort of start the day with this sense of excitement, butterflies, and optimism. If you start with a sense of ugh, then the whole day is going to kind of bring ugh, and that's not what you want. So hopefully that makes sense, and I want you to play around with meditation and observation. See what happens when you start to shift, and give yourself some time, because if you've kind of been in that cloudiness for a while, you might need a week or so before you start to see the manifestation kick in, because you have to start to believe what you're thinking before it truly happens. So that brings our monthly reading to a close. I hope that it helped you find the clarity and the guidance and that sense of empowerment that you need to move forward. That's why we do this every month. Additionally, if this is something that, if there's something going on in your life and you just want a more specific forecast or some assistance or just someone to talk to, I'm here. You can check out that first link below the video, and if you'd like to schedule an appointment with me, feel free to do so. I have 2 other links there, however, if you just like to support the channel. I mentioned at the beginning that your support makes everything possible here. So although it's not required, it definitely helps, and you can check out my websites for various ways to do that, one time or recurring, it's up to you. Additionally, if you just like to keep in touch with me across social media, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I also have a newsletter, all of this in addition to being here on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to do so now. Now, at the end of every video, I like to really offer a little bit of gratitude for the work that you've been doing, and this is no exception. For those of you that are new, I just want to say thank you for joining and for starting this journey of self-discovery and self-empowerment, working on yourself to open up your skills. For those of you that have been listening to my intuitive development series and have started to kind of open up and get even deeper down the rabbit hole, if you will, I just want to congratulate you on that continued work, because it's going to bring you to a place where the lower frequencies that we see kind of in the world right now, frequencies of fear, uncertainty, doubt, anger, frustration, hatred, bigotry, all these things that have kind of resurfaced in the past few years. As you get stronger, as you start to shine your light, you can shift the tide. And that's really what this is about. More love, more light, more togetherness on this planet. We're all actually part of the same energy. We literally came from the remnants of stars. And so if you look at us on a DNA level, we're absolutely equal. And if you look at us in the eyes of the universe, we all have the same sort of composition. So I believe that we should support one another on our unique journeys. This month, I want to support you to stay strong and to not listen to voices of dissent. They're always going to be out there. And as long as you're doing something from a place of love, light, joy, and higher guidance, then you don't have to listen to that, because this is just sometimes the shadow side, making sure that you're absolutely committed to your path. You're always given alternatives, shadow and light. And you see that in the moon. Choose the light, and good luck on your journey ahead. I have a feeling that good things are in store for you, okay? Wishing you love, light, now and always. Take care, and I'll see you again next month, okay? Bye-bye.